Ever wondered why you can play a game for 8 hours straight, but struggle to draw for just 30 minutes without feeling frustrated, bored, or overwhelmed? The thing is, drawing feels hard not because you lack motivation, but because you're not playing the game right. In this video, I'll help you understand what the game of art actually is, how to take the powerful mechanics games use to make them fun and addictive, and apply it to drawing instead, and give you the cheat codes to get ahead. So, if you've been stuck in the art journey, it's time to change your game and finally hit start. By the way, quick thanks to Printful for kindly sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in turning your art into custom merch you can sell without having to worry about upfront costs, check out the link below. So video games are what's known as a finite game. They have clear quests, a clear path, and an ultimate goal. Beat the final boss, save the world, and you win. But art isn't like that. There's no final boss, no defined endpoint, and no set quests that you have to complete. There's no achievement that you can get that tells you you've won art. This is what's known as an infinite game. Whereas in a finite game, the goal is to beat the game, and you lose when you don't win. In an infinite game like art, the goal is to simply keep playing the game and get a bit better at it each time. And the only way you lose is by quitting. But here's the hard part. When there's no glowing quest markers telling you where you should go, no shiny rewards for doing anything, it's incredibly easy to lose motivation, feel stuck, and just stop playing altogether. But the good news is we can take the same psychological principles games use to make them addictive and fun and apply it to art to make drawing rewarding and enjoyable like our favorite game. To do so, we first need to understand that there are two main kinds of motivations that drive everything we do, including gaming and art. The first kind of motivation is the type you get when you find yourself completing tasks in a game just to get gems to roll the gacha, or logging in every day so you don't lose your streak. In art, it's when you're drawing for likes, followers, or praise. This is called extrinsic motivation, where you do something for some kind of external reward or to avoid punishment. While it works in the short term, the problem with this type of motivation is that your wanting to do the thing is tied directly to getting these external things which aren't under your control. And if the reward were to disappear, so too will your motivation. Research also shows that over-relying on external rewards can actually reduce your natural enjoyment of something, because it shifts your focus from I do this because I love it to I do this because I get something. This is called the over-justification effect, where the reward becomes the reason and the love for the activity fades. Which is why we want to instead lean into the second type of motivation, which is the type you get when you're playing a game simply because it's fun, or exploring the open world because you're curious. In art, it's when you're drawing because you love it, and the process of creating is in itself satisfying. This is called intrinsic motivation, where you do something purely because you enjoy it or it's meaningful to you. And it's the kind of motivation that helps you stay in the game for years because the game feels worth playing. So the question then becomes, how can we turn art into a game that we're intrinsically motivated to play all the time? This is where self-determination theory, one of the most proven frameworks in psychology, comes in. It explains what makes an activity, like playing a video game, so satisfying and compelling that we want to keep on doing it, even without external rewards. According to the theory, we feel intrinsically motivated to do something when three certain psychological needs are fulfilled. The first need is competence. Competence is feeling that we're improving and gaining mastery at the thing we're doing. Games get this right. Beat a monster, finish a quest, and your experience goes up, you level up, and get new skills. Your character is constantly becoming better and more powerful, and the game provides you with many bars, gauges, and numbers, so you always know how you're doing. But art has none of that. There's no flashy level up screen when you finally understand perspective, no gold star for improving your figure drawing. You're never really sure if or how much you're growing. This is what can cause many artists to quit, because it's easy to feel like you're stuck or failing, even if you're actually on track and doing the right things. Which brings us to our first cheat code. Create your own EXP system. All you need to do are two simple things. The first is to track the time you spend drawing. There's a lot of free time tracking apps out there they can get, and all you need to do is hit start when you draw and stop when you're done. That's it. By tracking the hours you put in, it makes your effort and progress visible, just like an EXP bar in a game. This creates a steady stream of small wins, giving you a clear sense of progress every time you draw, which feeds your need for competence and helps keeps your motivation strong. The second is to keep an art progress board. For this, you can use an app that lets you add images on a board, or simply create a new folder on your computer, and whenever you finish drawing something, add it in there. Over time, this becomes visual proof of your progress, and you can look back to see how far you've come whenever you need a boost in motivation. Now, in games, you progress only when you succeed. You only move on to the next level once you beat the boss and complete the mission. But in art, it's a bit more complicated, because if you're not careful, success will grow your ego but not your character and keep you stuck in the same place. In fact, it's failure and learning from it that develops your character. Every mistake, every bad drawing, everything you find hard, those are actually all signals telling you the direction you should go in, and that by improving at them, you'll reach the next level. Marcus Aurelius said it best: the impediment to action advances action, what stands in the way becomes the way. So it's counterintuitive, but the cheat code for improving fast and meeting our need for competence is to fail forward, to take lots of action, and when we do make a mistake, to learn from it. Because of this, perseverance is the most underrated stat in the game of art. Consistency and playing the game for a long time is what makes your character become overpowered. So the strategy of being the last man standing, continuing on when everyone else would normally just quit, is one of the best ways to win the game. And the faster you can bounce back from failures and mistakes, the faster you level up. As Winston Churchill puts it, success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, I hope you consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss out on any new ones. The next psychological need is relatedness, the feeling that we're connecting with other people and that we belong. Games are designed to meet this effortlessly. They have stories with characters you can relate to, guilds and chat systems, and you can play co-op. Art, on the other hand, doesn't come with any of that built in. Most of the time, it's just you and the canvas, and it can sometimes feel a bit isolating and lonely. But you can build relatedness into your art journey by sharing your work, connecting with another artist, or just feel like you're part of the larger art community. What tends to hold us back from doing this, however, is comparison, which is one of those bosses on the art journey that everyone encounters. What's annoying about the comparison boss is that it doesn't one-shot you and instead slowly wears you down, telling you that everyone's better than you, that your art isn't good enough, or that you'll never catch up. It also has infinite respawns, so no matter how many times you beat it or ignore it, it will continue to come back whispering in your ear, especially when you're down. The only way to beat this boss is to turn comparison into admiration. So the next time you see an amazing piece of art and you find yourself comparing, pause and ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What do I genuinely admire about this piece? 2. What's something I can learn from it? And 3. How can I apply that to my own art? You'll find that when you do this, instead of feeling down from comparing, you'll feel inspired and even learn something new to make your art better too. The third psychological need is autonomy, the feeling that our choices are meaningful and that we have control. Games are great at meeting this need. They let you create your own character, explore the world how you want, and choose your own path. You're in control and your decisions matter. Art by default gives us a lot of autonomy. We're free to draw what we want and how we want it, which might be one of the reasons we're drawn to it in the first place. The problem then comes when we go on social media and start seeing what everyone else is doing, seeing what's popular and what gets likes. We then start to get a fear of missing out, and suddenly, we're not drawing what we love anymore. We begin to draw what we think we should draw, what we think other people will like. But while in many games the main quest revolves around saving the world and becoming the hero that's loved by everyone, in art, your main quest isn't to please everyone. Mark Rosewater, the head designer of Magic the Gathering, one of the biggest card games in the world, once gave a talk where he shared some of the lessons he learned from over 20 years of making the game. One of the stories he shared was about how they test new cards they make to know which one to keep and which one to change. He shared that they run a poll asking players to rate the cards from 1 to 10 based on how excited they'd be to play with it. He then asked the audience this question: which is better, a card that gets all 7s or a card that gets half 1s and 2s and half 9s and 10s? The answer he reveals is the one that gets a mix of the 1s and 10s, because something that evokes a strong response is better, even if some of that response is negative. As he puts it, if everyone likes your game but no one loves it, it will fail. I think this is completely true for art too. When I first heard this early on in my art journey, I was blown away because up until then, I had been creating from a place of trying not to fail and to make art that I think most people would generally like. But turns out this was the wrong approach because trying to appeal to everyone is basically how you end up resonating with no one. Yes, it's scary because it does mean some people will dislike what you create. But when I think about the artists whose art I love and resonate with, I find that they're the ones who embrace what they're uniquely into and what makes them weird without trying to please everyone. And personally looking back on my own journey, I've also found that my best work tends to come from when I'm being authentic and creating what I genuinely care about. The next cheat code in the game of art is to experiment and figure out how to monetize your art. Because once you do, not only can you start spending more time to draw, but you're also basically getting paid to learn and level up your skills, so your improvement just accelerates. This isn't limited to only doing commissions, however, and these days there are many options to monetize as an artist, and you can get started no matter where you are on the journey. For example, one way is to turn your art into custom merch that you can sell through a platform like Printful, who's kindly sponsoring today's video. They are print on demand, which means there are no upfront costs or risk on your end, since the product only gets made when someone buys it, and they handle all the storage and shipping for you. Creating a custom merch is as simple as heading to their website and selecting the type of product you want to create. And there's a wide variety you can choose from, such as prints, posters, clothing, accessories, phone cases, and mugs. Then you can just upload your art and customize the design until you're happy with it. Afterwards, you can connect Printful to your online shop, and if you don't have one, you can create one for free on a place like StoreEnvy. If you already have one, they integrate with all the major platforms like Etsy, Shopify, TikTok Shop, and more. Once you finalize the details, the product will be added to your shop, and just like that, your very own custom merch is live, ready for sale. Printful then handles the rest. When someone buys your merch, they'll automatically make it, pack it, and ship it for you, so you can just focus on creating your art. They're known for their high product quality, and for example, here is a custom mug that I made with Ira here on one side, and my logo on the other side, and it's pretty awesome. Printful's pricing is also competitive, and they're used by some of the biggest brands in the world, like Coca-Cola, Spotify, and MTV, which means that you can get the same quality and service as them with no upfront cost. They've also got fulfillment centers all over the world, so you can sell internationally while avoiding extra fees. And they also give you the option to add things like insert cards and personalized messages, so you can add a personal touch to your merch and make your brand stand out. So if you find that interesting, you can check Printful out through the link in the description. Now, because as humans, our brains evolved to detect threats, avoid failure, and survive, we are actually better at spotting problems than coming up with solutions. So one of the biggest cheat codes for becoming a great artist is to use inversion thinking, where instead of asking, how do I get good at art? You flip it around and ask, how do I guarantee that I stay bad at art forever? And that's exactly what I do here in this video, where I take you through the 15 rules for staying bad at art and how to accidentally become a great artist by doing the opposite. This was Ori. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!